Hey everybody, welcome back for another lesson with our wonderful teacher, Bridget Rampton. So glad to see so many of our regulars already jumping into the chat, making it the friendly and fun place that it is. Hey, J.A. Brown, Chris, Marianne, Rosemary, Linda. Other folks are here, haven't yet said hi. I hope you will. If you're new or newish or back after a spell, say hi, introduce yourself. It's a friendly group. We all make mistakes together. We all are challenged by our teacher to keep thinking and really trying to understand many of the things we might have even learned before, but didn't get a firm understanding of the why beneath all of it. So we'll all keep learning together. If you have questions, put them in the chat where Bridget can see them. If you're confused, put it in the chat. If you're confused, if you have a question, it's very likely that other people will too, including folks who aren't able to be with us live, but will be watching by replay. So you're doing a service for other folks who can't ask in real time. Just a quick reminder too, if you run into tech trouble, I won't even go through the slides. The regulars all know this. If you run into tech trouble, don't leave that in the chat as it can distract from the learning. Instead, just reply to any of the emails I send you from learnbridgeonline.com or using the support widget in the bottom left corner of the screen. You can reach me privately. I can help out personally. And everyone else who is here focusing on what we came here for won't be distracted by us figuring out how to fix whatever gremlin crept into the system. Bridget is here. I see her. Jeanette, glad to have you with us. Hey, Sandy, Sue. All right. Most important thing I need to remember to do before calling Bridget up to the stage. Let me click that recording button so that this lesson, like all the other ones, will be there for you all in the lesson library. And then we can get started. All right, here it comes. Oh, what? All right, here we go. The recording is active. I was just trying to place that movie. Ooh. I'm not even going to try it. I'm going to embarrass myself. Folks watching by replay, thank you for joining us. We're sad you can be with us live, but maybe next week, the lesson will be same time, same place, and you are always invited. If you have questions about today's lesson, you can leave them for Bridget on the class page, and we'll all keep learning together there. Shall we get started? Let's call the woman of the hour up to the stage. Here she comes.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Hi. So you don't know which movie this is? Does anybody know which movie it is? I'm sure there's going to be people who know this one.
I feel like I could get the multiple choice question correct.
Okay. I could do that. I could give you a multiple choice, but I think it looks like some people are typing in.
Someone's going to know, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if they know. Yay! Trisha's got It's The Great Escape.
That's the one I would have chose. And what's his name? Are you like?
Oh God, what is his name? Hold on a second. Okay, we're going to need to ask the audience this one as well.
Ask the audience.
Steve McQueen, obviously. Yeah, Steve McQueen in The Great Escape. Yeah. So, does anyone know where this is set? Like the actual background?
Since you're asking, I have an idea.
Do you? What would you say?
Well, no, maybe not. Not if it is.
You were going to say New Zealand, weren't you?
I was, but yeah. No.
It's not New Zealand. Does anybody know?
Yeah, Chris had the same idea.
Yeah, I mean, if it had been New Zealand, that would have made it far cooler. It's not Montana.
Wherever it is, it's beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to be there in about 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I've been there about 20 times in my life. I love it there.
Oh, wow. Trisha guessed Montana. Sue,
It's a wonderful, wonderful place. It's a place called Fusen, and it's right in the bottom of Germany and Bavaria, right on the Austrian border. And it's where that castle is, the Neuschwanstein, the famous castle that Disneyland's based on. So if you ever get a chance to go there, and they have a bridge club there. I've played bridge there.
It sounds like heaven. All right.
It's heaven. Right, but without further ado,
meet there. Bridget, when will you be there? Let's have a live lesson. We'll all get over there.
I know, from the top of the mountain. Exactly. That would be really fun. That would be fun.
on our motorcycles. Okay, enough fun, Bridget. I will turn it over to you.
Okay, cool.
I'll be around manning the support desk. Bridget, if you need any help, just sing out my name and I'll hop back.
Okay, that sounds lovely. Brilliant. Okay, so the first thing I thought we could do, and this was just based on, I think it was maybe Rosemary last week suggested this, is maybe just doing a little bit of a recap. And I was over the last lesson, and I was reading this article, which I may have mentioned actually, about memory and when you lock things into your memory and how you lock things into your memory. And it is kind of interesting. Apparently, to really remember something properly, you need to learn it, and then you need to go over it as you are starting to forget it. So you need an actual pause, and then for something to be reintroduced again, for something to be really locked in well. So what I thought we could do is just do a tiny bit of a refresh on the 2-club overcall of 1 No Trump before we move on to the fantastic Helvet Wiggle, the great escape from 1 No Trump. So let's do that very quickly, talk what we went through last week, because then I feel like everyone's got it and it's cemented, or at least starting to go into that process of cementing. Let me share this screen here. Okay, so can you all see the bridge base screen? Did someone give me the thumbs up? You can see it? Okay, cool. So first one, what are we going to open with the West hand? So we're playing a strong No Trump here, actually. I put some strong No Trump hands here. So if you're playing a strong No Trump, 15 to 17, this is a 1 No Trump. And if you are the North hand, you've got a really lovely hand for this 2-club bid showing the majors, because you've got 5 spades and 4 hearts. So when you make this 2-club bid, you're showing at least 5-4 in the majors and 10 points or more. If the opponents have opened a weak No Trump, then if you have a really big hand, like 16 points or more, or even 15, a good 15, what do you do rather than doing the multi-landy bid? Can someone tell me? So with all big hands over a weak No Trump, you double, you give them the smash, basically. You double them because you want to give you and your partner an opportunity to penalize them. It might be a more rewarding thing. Over a strong No Trump, most people play that double is also penalties, but it's less likely to go your way, and it happens a lot less as well, because it's very unlikely to have a 15 to 17 and then 15 point directly over as well. So it tends to happen more with a weak No Trump. So when person here bids 2 clubs, they're often showing between a 10 and a 15 count if you play double as penalties. So if you were the East hand here, you are just going to pass. What would you bid with the South hand? So normally, we talked about 90% of the time you're making one of 2 bids. You're bidding a preference for your major. Normally, you're just bidding 2 hearts or 2 spades. Or if you've got equal length, you're bidding 2 diamonds. But you can make a call and decide where the contract's going to go. So 2 diamonds or 2 hearts or 2 spades, or especially 2 hearts or 2 spades, that's kind of saying, I prefer that suit and I just want to play at the 2 level in that suit. So you've all picked that you want to be in hearts. So you know that your partner's got 4 hearts and you know that your partner's got 10 points. And I think I'm going to go, well, I am going to go with Chris and Jeanette here. I'm just bidding 4 hearts with this bid, because you know your partner's got this hand, the hand that they've said, and you also know that you can add values for your singleton, and you know that you've got a 10 card fit in hearts, which is a very powerful thing, having 10 cards in the suit. You also know that that Queen and Jack of Spades, that's going to slot nicely into your partner's suit. They're not wasted values. If that Queen and Jack were in another suit, it wouldn't be as powerful. But because you know your partner's got spades, they're very useful cards, those 2. So here, I would actually just bid 4 hearts. So thank you for the information, partner. Thank you for telling me that you've got 10 through to about 15 points and that you've got at least 5 spades and at least 4 hearts. When I'm visualizing our 2 hands together, I think we're going to make 4 hearts. So you would just bid 4 hearts here. And how do you think it's going to go? Winners and losers. You can see we've got a loser in diamonds. We've got a loser in clubs. And It doesn't look like we're going to have any losers in this spade suit. And we are also very lucky that the King of Hearts is in the right place. So we can run that Queen of Hearts around, and their King of Hearts is never going to win a trick. So it looks like you're going to make +1 here in 4 hearts. So that's sort of a practical, you're thinking, thank you for telling me about your hand partner. I know you've got both majors. I know you've got 10 points, 10 in that range of 10 through to about 14 points. And so given that you've got that, I think here that we can play in 4 hearts. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this is a strong no trump again. So this person is bidding 2 clubs. I've got at least 5-4 in the majors. Pass by North. Okay, what about this one? What do you do with the East hand? So 2 diamonds is I've got no preference. Getting some good answers coming in. Yep, thanks Judith, thanks Chris. Linda, great. 2 hearts saying I've got no aspirations for game. I just prefer hearts to spades. I know you've got at least 4 of them. 2 hearts. And then you end up in a better contract, and you end up in a perfectly nice place. And you're a bit lucky here. You can see the hearts are breaking 3-3. The spades are breaking 3-3. You are probably going to make a diamond trick as well. So that's a perfectly nice part score to be in. Okay, 1 more for our memories. Okay, so this is a strong no trump again. Okay, what about the North hand? Any thoughts on the North hand? Yep, Chris is saying pass with the North hand. So people, these hands make people anxious because you feel like you've got something decent and you want to get involved, but you just can't. So when you've got a balanced hand over a 1 no trump opening with a balanced sort of 12-13 count, you can't actually really do anything about it most times. You have to pass with this hand and try and psychologically manage your expectations for saying it's not terrible at all. You've got a good defensive hand. But don't feel tempted to come in with these balanced hands. They're not good enough to double. You can't really do anything with them. Just think of them as defensive hands. So this person passes in North. There's going to be a pass by East. And we didn't talk about this exactly last week. Should you come in with the South hand? So in the North seat, you want 10 plus points. Judith saying yes. Anyone else for a yes coming in with the South hand? Chris is saying yes as well. And I would as well, because you're in this last protective seat again. And when you're in this last seat, you don't want to sort of sell out to 1 no trumps, and you need to protect your partner from having something. You know, East hasn't made any sort of sign towards game. So it feels like your partner could well have something. You don't want to just sell out to 1 no trump. So I come in with fewer points here in this last pass out seat if I have a bid to make. So here I would bid 2 clubs, even though I've only got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. And I'd probably even do it with 7 points. I would still come in this particular seat, but I wouldn't do it in that North seat, especially if I'm not vulnerable. So 2 clubs. What does North do now? So 2 diamonds. Two spades, saying I prefer spades. So is there any hope of game from North's perspective? Should North do anything here? Jeanette's saying no. So what's the maximum number of points South could have? For me, it's a close call, and you're normally going to be okay passing here, but I think I wouldn't be able to resist raising it one level. You know that your partner's said that the spades is their longer suit. You have got 3 of them, and you've got 3 in the other suit as well, and they could be a 14 count. So I probably would stretch and bid 3 spades here to ask. But I'm also extremely aware as well that my partner may have bid light. So I don't think it would actually be totally wrong to pass it, but I think I would probably stretch because I'm thinking, oh, we might have game on. But then your partner would pass quickly and you'd end up playing in 3 spades. Does anyone have any questions about that 2 club landy bid before we move on to discussing the Helvet Wiggle? 90% of the time you're just bidding 2 diamonds or you're showing preference for the major. I think Rosemary might have a question. Is it the same points for a weak no trump? Yeah, so that the points for making the overcall are the same. So if using the landy bid against a weak no trump or a strong no trump, you're starting at 10 points in that direct seat. And here, in this case, it would be the north seat. So that's the same. And this is landy and multi-landy. Yes, so the 2 club bid is part of the multi-landy toolbox. It started off being called landy, and then they developed these other bids, which I'd love to go through at some stage as well. And we can do that and add them bit by bit so we have a full toolkit of the multi-landy toolbox. Brilliant. Okay, no, Rosemary, I hope that helped. Can North bid 2 no trumps here for equal length and stronger hands, says Kevin. It depends what you play, actually, Kevin. So that depends on your system. For me and my partner, that shows that I have got 4-4. So like all these things with bridge system, you can come up with your own agreements with your own partner, and the sky is the limit for how many bids you want. It depends on how regular your partnership, how much you want to go into getting a very, very fine-tuned system. Otherwise, I would probably play that that the 2 no trumps was probably more of a sort of balanced interest in 3 no trumps. So it totally depends on what you play with your partner. So I'm going to swing everybody. Ken North. Okay, it's the same question. I'm just going to pop back and show everybody the Great Escape again. Steve McQueen in Bavaria. So I guess you know why I've put the Great Escape on. It's when you are doubled in 1 no trump, you really need to escape. You need to get out of there sometimes if your points aren't very high. And we talked about some of this last week as well. So when you open 1 no trump, it's got positives and negatives. Linda has just said practicing landy is difficult on BBO because they use Capriotti, and they do. I know that's annoying, but there does seem to be a much bigger move towards multi-land even in America, I've noticed. So maybe they'll change it soon. Fingers crossed. So opening 1 no trump, especially a weak no trump, it's got great advantages and great disadvantages. I think you have a balanced hand about half the time, and if you have an opening-ish hand, your point count is in that 12 to sort of 14 range about half the time as well. So the times that a weak no trump come up are a lot if you're lucky enough to play this weak no trump, because it means that maybe 1 hand in 4 you can open 1 no trump. And it's some of the great things about it is it's very, very difficult, like we said last week, it's very, very difficult to overcall a weak no trump, and it can block the opponents out of the bidding, and often they can never find what they're looking for. It might be that North hand we had before, where they had that balanced 12 count. South might also have a balanced 13 count. Neither of them are able to do a sort of multi-landy bid or do anything else. And then suddenly they miss their game, and neither of them know that their partner's got a decent amount of points. So you can sneak in with a 1 no trump bid, not go off badly because they don't know they've got the points to penalise you. Or you might end up playing in a partner might transfer to a major, and you can end up stealing a contract often with this weak no trump. So that's the advantage of it. The disadvantage of it is you really are putting your neck on the table for a guillotine. It's a risky thing to do when you open a weak no trump. So you should really have a mechanism between you and your partner to escape if you need to, because as soon as you come across good defenders, they're looking for an opportunity to penalise these pesky weak no trump people. So you have to have a way of escaping to a better place. what have we got here? So you're going to be, the risk is clearly that you're going to be left in one no trump without enough points to make and be doubled. So that is the risk of playing a weak no trump. Strong no trump is not quite so risky, but having said that, last week I got doubled in a strong no trump and I went down for negative 800 and there was just nothing I could do, me and my partner. So it does happen. You can get doubled in strong no trumps as well. That was a bad board. I think it was even the same day I'd been talking about it, which is funny. So we talked last week about all the sorts of hands that would be doubling the no trump, especially the weak no trump. So you're doubling a weak no trump with anything with 15, 16 points or more. It doesn't necessarily say we definitely want to double to penalize the opponents with their no trump, but it's basically telling your partner that you've got a really big hand and you want to leave open the opportunity to penalize them. You'd love to penalize them on one no trump, but even if they escape somewhere else, you're looking to penalize them. The first hand is a very balanced one. They're doubling for penalties. Second one's doubling for penalties as well. And the third one, even with that sort of extreme shape in the minors, I am still doubling for penalties because I've got a lot of points there. So I'm hoping that we can catch them because we can catch them out. So important to have the escape plan. By the way, make sure you're buckled in to your aeroplane. When I popped that picture in a few days ago, that was before that ghastly flight to Singapore. But you do need to have an escape plan. The Helvet Wiggle. Has anybody, I asked everyone just to have a quick research online so they could get a bit of preload some information, because I really think that helps with your learning as well. Did anyone manage to have a quick look at a video about Helvet Wiggles? Yay! Well done, everybody. I really think it works. Doesn't matter whose video you watch. It's fantastic you watch mine, but it is great to do a little bit of research first because it will just really help. It's like you start mentally processing before the lesson. That's fantastic that you watched it, and I hope it made sense. So let's use the lesson to reinforce it. If you haven't watched a video, don't worry at all, but it will be a bit more of a learning process for you because you'll be hearing it for the first time. So the Helvet Wiggle kit basically says, and this is probably the best way to escape after a one no trump doubled. What you're basically looking to do is try and get to a safer place. And if you are lucky enough to have a 5-card suit and you need to get to a safer place. So first of all, question is, when do you need to get to a safer place? Like, how many points do you think you should have before you are not worried? Sounds like a double negative. So what is kind of the cutoff for punting playing in a no trump? Is what I'm. So if you're adding your points to your partner's, say 12 to 14, at what point would you think maybe we're just going to wing it and try and play in one no trump? So what would be the point count for rescuing, and what would be the point count for just sitting the one no trump doubled and trying to play it? So Sue's saying 20. Stephen's saying 7. Kevin's saying 7. So I think Kevin's basically saying 7 plus the 12 range to 14. Sue's saying 20 to play. Yeah. So you're all understanding that you do need 20, sort of 21 points usually to make one no trump, which is fantastic. But if I had a 7 count opposite a one no trump, that's where I'm thinking, is this 7 count a 7 count that should sit the one no trump? I don't know if my partner's got 12, 13 or 14 points. Or is it one that should rescue? For me, 7 is about the limit opposite a one no trump, because I'm thinking we could have 19 points, but we could actually be better. So a flat 7 I might rescue. 6 is when I'm really rescuing. So if I think there's a chance that we've only got 18 points between the two hands, that's when I'm really thinking about rescuing my partner. And a nice 7 I might sit, whereas a bad 7, a really flat 7, a quacky one with sort of queens and jacks scattered, then I would try and rescue. Opposite a strong no trump, if you ever play with anyone or you play a strong no trump, you need to be thinking again about that sort of 18 count. If you think that there's a chance that you've got fewer than 18 points and you really want to rescue your partner. So a sort of a 3 count is looking at rescuing your partner. If you start having a 4 count, then you think, well, 4 plus 15 is 19. They might have 16 or 17. We might actually be okay here. So then maybe you don't. I might just bring up the whiteboard and we can talk about all the things that you can do. So let me just pop to the whiteboard first. By the way, here I have put a flowchart. Everyone loves a flowchart of what we're going to talk about. This is just so that you have it if you wanted to print it out and stick it on your fridge and have it there for you. But we're not going to go, well, we will kind of go through the ideas in the flowchart, but don't have to squint your eyes now and try and read that. I just popped it there so you have it. But let's go over to the whiteboard and we will talk about what you do here. So I'm going to start up here. So first of all, the ops have doubled one no trump. So the first thing you're asking is, do I need to rescue? So do you need to rescue? RESCUE. So basically, if you think that you have sort of fewer than 7 points or a bad 7 points, then the answer is yes, you really, really should rescue. But if you have more, then really think about not rescuing. So I might just cover this side first because this side is interesting. So if your partner opens a 1 no trump and the opponent's double and you have like a 9 count, how do you feel about it? What are you thinking if you have a 9 count? Any thoughts? You're feeling okay about it. And in fact, it feels like you're going to make the 1 no trump doubled. And you might even make an over trick in 1 no trump doubled. So in that situation, you don't want to take the double out because it might be better for you to be in 1 no trump doubled making than maybe finding your own contract somewhere. So this is when you pass smugly, basically. So you pass and make extra points for your no trump and extra points for your 1 no trump doubled +1. Occasionally, you actually have a really big hand. So sometimes you might have something like a 14 count or even a 12, 13 count. And at that point, you've really got to think, should I just pass it and make 1 no trump plus over tricks, or should I be maybe in 3 no trumps on my own game? And that's where it's hard to actually assess that. You have to make a call. If you make 1 no trump doubled +2, it's annoying, but it's actually slightly less than you would make if you were in bidding your own game. Let's have a quick look at the figures on the back. So on the back of these, you've obviously got all your numbers, which is, oh, there it is, sorry, which is always useful to have. But 1 no trump doubled +2 is 380 points. So 1 no trump +2 is basically being in 300, is basically being in 3 no trumps. So if you're making 380 points, you're actually 20 light of being and bidding 3 no trumps. 20 lights neither here nor there in a team match, but if you're playing match points, that would be super annoying because you've made your 1 no trump doubled +2 and you get a bottom board compared with those people who bid and make 3 no trumps. So I was kind of for a long time under the illusion that 1 no trump double +2 would give me massive amounts of points, but it doesn't, annoyingly. And even if you are vulnerable, 1 no trump doubled +2 is 580, so you're still 20 points light. So +2. So actually making 3 no trumps, you're better off bidding it rather than getting +2. As soon as you get to +3, that's different. Then you're better off being doubled making +3 than you are being in your game. So this one here, think about game. So just ask yourself, should we actually bid game here if you've got a good hand? So don't always pass the 1 no trump doubled. Definitely pass it if you're kind of in that 9, 10, 11 range because you don't know that you're going to make 3 no trumps. Whereas in the other range, or even 8 or a good 7, but in the other range, if you know that you're in game, you have to start thinking, does this feel like we're going to make 3 no trumps? Or we're going to make 3 no trumps +1? Clearly really hard to assess that. And it's a bit of a gamble on that one. But back to the rescuing business. Do you need to rescue? If you have a weak hand, you absolutely do need to rescue. So when you rescue, first of all, before we cover these rescue bids, what are you really, really hoping that the opponents do here once you've made your rescue bid? What would be your dream? What would you love? So it's gone 1 no trump, doubled by the opponents. You make some effort at rescuing, either by redoubling or bidding something. What are you absolutely hoping? Yeah, that they bid. Yeah. So yeah, everyone's got that. That's wonderful. You really, really want to tempt the opponents into coming in and bidding. And this is one of the, as soon as they bid, you're off the hook, basically. You can think, oh my goodness, that was cool. I'm off the hook. We can let the opponents bid their way to their part score or their game. And that is probably going to be better than us being heavily penalized for putting our neck on the line with this weak no trump. So you're really, really hoping the opponents overcall. And one of the beauties of playing the Helvet Wiggle is that the opponents will feel very uncertain once you've escaped from one no trump about whether they should be bidding their game or bidding their part score or penalizing you. And normally they're tempted to come in, I've noticed. Most people don't end up trying to penalize you in your safe place. They will instead start bidding their own suit or no trumps. So that's one of the great things about having system here, is it does tempt the opponents to come in, and as soon as they come in, they're off the hook. So that also means that once they've bid, don't bid again. Like occasionally I'll see people, their partner will end up doing a rescue bid, and then the other person will think, oh, actually I've got 4 of those, and they'll raise it, and then they'll get slammed with a double. And you'll be saying to your partner, I rescued you because I had 0 points. Why did you go on and bid to the 3 level? So don't feel tempted to come in again ever when your partner makes the rescue. As soon as the opponents have bid, you are off the hook, and you've managed to get yourself to a much safer place. And right, so let's pop this in. So fewer than 7, yes. So the next question is, do you have a 5+ card suit? So if you've got a 5+ card suit, I'm going to ask the people who have done a bit of pre-watching what you do here. So you've got a 5+ card suit. What do you do now? So you need rescuing. Your partnership needs rescuing. You need to get out of this terrible place. You're lucky enough to have a 5+ card. So yeah, you redouble. You bring out that redouble card, which is really used in bridge, but it's such a fantastic card when it's used. So you redouble to say, I've got a 5-card suit. And your partner knows that not only do you have a 5-card suit, but also that your partnership needs rescuing. So by the way, if you are the people who are attacking the one no trump, it's really important when all these bids start happening to ask the opponents what they're playing. You need to know whether they're rescuing or not, or what exactly they are doing. And sometimes people play redouble to mean different things. So it's a very good thing. If you're the next person to make a bid, you need to find out what this means. You need to ask the partner of the person who's made the bid, what are you expecting from your partner when they redouble? Sometimes people can be a bit cagey about what it means because they don't want to give the game away, but you need to find out what they've got going on. So you need to say to them, what would it mean if your partner passed? And if you are redoubling, would you be redoubling with a 0 count, for instance, or a 3 count? And what would it mean if they bid a suit? And Kevin just said he finds transfers in the responder hand are better with a weak 5-card suit. Yeah, sure, Kevin. I've just never played it. So I've been using the Helvet Wiggle, and that's what seems to work for me and what I think most of my friends are playing. So, but always message me and let me have a look at the system for sure. So redouble says, I have got a 5-card suit. So what you're telling your partner to do is to puppet to 2 clubs. So puppet is that expression that's used all the time in bridge. So it's basically forcing your partner to bid 2 clubs. So you're saying, bid 2 clubs, partner. You're not saying bid clubs if you've got clubs or anything like that. You're saying bid 2 clubs, partner. Your partner's got no choice in this. Hopefully, between you telling them to bid 2 clubs and your partner bidding the 2 clubs, the person on your left is going to make a bid, and then you're off the hook, which is what we're all after. But if they don't, your partner's going to bid 2 clubs, and you then pass or correct it. So you pass it if clubs is your 5-card suit. But if any other suit is your 5-card suit, which will be 3 out of the 4 times, then you just correct it. And then again, the opponents are going to either come in or they're going to start attacking you, one or the other. Or possibly they'll let you play if they feel like it's an even distribution of points. Okay, so if you don't have a 5-card suit, it normally means that you're a more balanced hand with 2 4-card suits. So you've probably got something like a 4-4-3-2 shape. And in this situation, what do you do? Someone who's watched the video? So you don't have a 5-card suit, but you do need rescuing. two 4-card suits. Yeah, you bid the lower of your two 4-card suits. And this is why it's called the wiggle. You bid the lower. And what you're basically doing of 4, sorry about my writing, card suits. So what you're doing now is you're hoping to wiggle to a safe place. So you go wiggle, 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 and you're going to stop when you get to a 4-3 fit. So your partner will then, if they don't have 3 in that one that you've bid, they'll bid their 4, and then you'll pass that if you've got 3. It's not always going to work, and hopefully the opponents will come in between and bid, but you're hoping to get to a safer place than you would have been before. Okay, so let's try some of these hands. I'll take you back to here. Okay, first hand. Okay, this looks like a 1 no trump opening. So 1 no trump by West. Classic 12 to 14. Okay, what does North do? Oh, Chris has just asked. Sorry, is it Chris or was it Chris who asked, or Kevin? It's just disappeared up the chat. I'm just going to take you back because someone's asked a really important question. Yeah, Kevin has asked, if you have only 1 4-card suit, what do you do? So this is in this situation. Back to our writing board. So you have 2 4-card suits. You bid the lower 4-card suit, but of course, sometimes you have a 4-3-3-3 shape. No 2 4-card suits. So you've got really low points in a 4-3-3-3 shape. I think one of the examples we had last week had that. That's the worst. If that happens to you, just bid 2 clubs and hope for the best, basically. Just bid 2 clubs, even if that's your 3. So just bid the lowest one and hope that your partner passes that. And I mean, they're probably going to come in, the opponents as well. But that's your worst case scenario. In that situation, bid clubs. So we're going to come back to this screen. Here we go. So 1 no trump. And everyone is very happy with this double by North. Saying, I am going to penalize. I'm looking to get you down in 1 no trumps. It feels to me that the balance of points are more likely to be with North and South than with West and East. Okay, is East worried? Would you be worried with the East hand? Yeah, very, very worried. So you've got to do something about it. So in this situation, you got the 5-card suit. So when you got the 5-card suit, how do you get that across to your partner? Redouble, yeah. So you must write in the explanation box again. Hold on, see if I can do it. If you're playing online, you must write something like bid clubs partner or something shorter. But you must tell the opponents what you're doing or alert it if you are playing in real life and you're the partner of this person. So you redouble to say, I've got a 5-card suit somewhere. Oh, you probably should write the 5-card suit. I've got a 5-card suit, bid clubs. And then, so South here might come in and then your problems are over. So a lot of people here will think, okay, I know that they're trying to make a rescue bid. I'm happy to try and play in 2 spades here. I don't have any real aspiration of penalizing them. My partner's probably got sort of a 15, 16 count, and we probably don't have game on. So you might find that South comes in and just bids 2 spades, which would be a kind of to play situation. That's not trying to rescue their side once the opponents have said they need rescuing. It's simply I want to play in 2 spades. So some South people are going to bid 2 spades here, but here they haven't. So what does West do? Yeah, 1 no trump is going to be really awful here. Yeah, I think it's down 3. West bids 2 clubs because they've been told to. So that would also need to be alerted by the East person or self-alerted if you're on bridge base. So you would write puppet or something, anything you like, but just explaining what's going on. So you're being forced to bid 2 clubs. So again, in this situation, North might come in and then you're off the hook again. But say North doesn't come in, what would you do with the East hand? Pass, yeah. So you've got to a good place potentially. You don't really know. You're hoping your partner doesn't only have 2 clubs, which they do, but you're hoping they don't. And now these guys may start penalizing you, or they may start trying to find their own game. It will depend on what their system is, and what they think the best approach is. For me, I always play that if I am in this attacking mode, that my first double in the north-south seats, my first double that I would make is because I've got a shortage in that suit. So I'm sort of hoping my partner has got length in it. So if I doubled here, it would be saying I had a shortage in clubs, and I'd be kind of hoping my partner might have something like the ace, king, small in clubs. But the south hand, I can't do that because I've actually got length. So again, I'd be tempted to come in with spades here maybe. But if I did pass, then they're playing in 2 clubs. But if you do end up doubling them here, you've actually got them down a lot as well. I think it's possibly, I know that's pretty bad going down in clubs, isn't it? Let's have a look. How many would you go down? Any thoughts? If you don't get doubled, that's absolutely fine. If you get doubled, I'd find this hard to double this hand. If I were playing this with my partner, I think we'd probably end up playing in no trumps making. Be hard to double the clubs because no one's got the shortage. So it's pretty horrible, isn't it? Because you same thing, you've got no strength in that dummy hand, but at least you've got 5 trumps, and also everything is on in the north hand. So your queen of spades is going to be killed by that king. You've got heart loser. The king of diamonds is going to be killed by the ace. Let's put the double dummy on. I think you're down a lot. You're probably down 3 as well. Let's have a look. Yep, so it depends on the lead, but it's not nice for you. You're going down 3. So hopefully you won't get doubled. And hopefully what's actually going to happen is the opponents are going to run and take control of the bidding and end up bidding their own contract, and you'll be off the hook. Let's try another one. What is the point of the wiggle? The point of the wiggle is to get you out of 1 no trump doubled. And it's to also encourage the opponents to bid. You really, really want the opponents to come in. And this particular hand here, I think the opponents would come in. Like I think with my partner and me, it would be hard for us to work out that we wanted to penalize the clubs. So we would end up coming in and maybe just making our own 3 no trumps, which we're not vulnerable. We'd get 400 points, but that wouldn't be as good as getting west, east down 3 and 1 no trump. So 3 doubled is not a great score. So you're down 500 here because you're not vulnerable. So we've by doubling you, we would get more, but we wouldn't be able to realize that was the case. And we would end up wimping out almost certainly and just bidding our own game because we'd be scared of losing our game bonus. So that is the main objective of the Hellbit Wiggle, really, is to get the opponents to bid and at the same time get you out of a dangerous position. Okay, let's take that double dummy off. Let's try another one. Or just wait for Sandy to come in with her question. If you could type fast enough, Sandy. Or I'll keep looking. Don't worry, I'll look back at what you're writing. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, so we've got a weak no trump. Weak no trump opening 1, no trump 12 to 14. Again, you need to write that in the box if you're playing bridge base, or at the club you should actually alert weak no trump, unless it's an assumption at your club that everyone's playing it. Okay, north hand. This is close, actually. Whether you double or not, I would. The club suit's really nice. All those, it's the queen jack actually have worth there because they've got the 10 as well. It's less likely. A lot of people won't double here. They'll think it's not quite good enough, but I would because I love doubling. So I'm going to double for penalties. Okay. East hand, panic stations. They want to rescue their partner. They haven't got a 5-card suit to bid. They haven't got a 5-card suit, so they can't do that redoubling business. So what can they do? Yeah, they bid the bottom of their 2 4-card suits. So in this particular version of the Hellbit Wiggle, it doesn't matter if your 2-card suits are in different places. Like say you had clubs and hearts, you would still bid clubs. or if you had diamonds and spades, you still bid diamonds. So you just bid the bottom of your 2-4 card suit. So you're bidding 2 clubs here to say, I'm trying to rescue you, partner. That's the bottom of my 2-4 card suit. So South, if you're playing, should say, what's the point range of that 2 clubs? What's your top limit? What do you play? Just to get a vibe on what's going on. They can see that they've got 8 points. They know their partner's sort of got 15, 16 plus. So they know the majority of the points are with them. So they're thinking that they're going to be interested in penalizing here. So they would pass. Okay, what does West do? This is when the wiggle begins. They would pass the clubs if they had 3 of them. But they don't have 3 of them. Yep, Chris, quick with a reply. They bid 2 diamonds, their lowest 4-card suit. This person passes. So East thinks, oh, amazing. They've actually got 4 diamonds. So we have ended up in a 4-4 fit. That is hopefully going to be a safer place than playing in 1-no trump doubled. So what do? They're going to pass, right? They're just going to pass, thinking that's safer, that feels okay. So South, if you played this the way I play it, that the first double is shortage, is going to probably double here because they know their partner's got points and they're hoping to penalize them. They're hoping their partner's got something like some beautiful cards with the in the diamond suit. So that first double is the shortage. After that, second doubles and onwards are penalties, but the first double is shortage. And you can see that that puts pressure on North to bid. They don't know whether they should be bidding no trumps or whether they should be passing the penalty for passing it for penalties. I might have got 3 to the queen. I mean, I'd think about just passing it and trying to get them off in 2 diamonds. It's just fun. And it's also really good for your defense. It's a good thing to practice, trying to bring the opponents down. So I do like trying to do it and penalizing the opponent. So maybe I would pass this. It's not, I would much prefer to have the spades in the diamond suit and passing with that. But I mean, it feels like if your partner's got points, maybe they're not going to make 2 diamonds. And you also, you've got lovely cards in all the side suits and your partner's got something, obviously. So you might try and bring them down vulnerable in 2 diamonds. What if West bids 2 spades, says Rosemary, because that was the next 4-card suit. I mean, that would be a horrible situation. And the only time that would happen is if West had a really awful 4-3-3-3 shape as fourth, yeah, and that would be awful. But here you'd be okay because you were in a 4-3 fit with the spades. So you would be okay because if you've there will be occasions where you really aren't okay, that you can't even find a 4-3 fit. But normally, hopefully the opponents are going to come in, but normally you do end up finding a 4-3 fit. So here, say you pass this, you decide not to push on and bid no trumps. Oops. And how is that going to be playing in 2 diamonds? Let's just count winners and losers. So think about the diamond suit, whether you're going to make any spade tricks, any heart tricks, and any club tricks. There's no, well, yeah, it's hard to get roughing going. Maybe in the hearts you can, but it looks like you're probably making 3 diamonds. You might make a spade 4. You're going to make a heart 5, and you might be able to rough a heart. But you're going off here in 2 diamonds. Depending on the lead, and they probably will. What would you lead here? What would everybody lead? I mean, you can now see the double dummy, so you can see that leading the ace of spades is not as good as leading the jack of clubs. If you lead the ace of spades, and I could well lead the ace of spades here, actually, then you only get them off 1. But if you lead, leading a trump. Now this is kind of an interesting situation. So when you do penalize opponents in a part score, it's often right to lead a trump. Does anyone know the logic why it's often right to lead a trump when you're penalizing the opponents in a part score? What the philosophy is, like why is it almost always right to lead a trump when you're penalizing opponents in a part score? I would be a bit nervous here because I've got the trump to the queen and I'd be scared I was giving away a trick. I think there would be some people who would lead the diamonds here anyway. Yeah, Chris said they need the roughs. Yeah, so if the only chance that really is if you're playing in a part score doubled, what the opponents are saying is we've got the points and we've probably got better diamonds than you as well, or we could have better diamonds than you too. So the only chance really that the contract is ever going to make, or that they're not going to go down that badly, is if they can use their trumps effectively by roughing with them. So what you're trying to do is pull their trumps out so they can't even do that. So I was playing with a world-class player recently, and he wanted me to lead a trump even with the holding to the queen, which I felt really nervous about because I feel like I'm giving away a trick sometimes. So if I'd led round to the ace king jack in the west hand, then I never make my queen. But I think he thought it was even mandatory then. I'd have to ask an expert about this one. I would be scared. I hate leading away from the queen here. I feel like I might lose that trick. But if you do lead a trump here, you do get them off too. And if you lead the jack of clubs here, you get them off too. The key is, though, that at some stage you've got to pull out their trumps. So if your partner did lead the queen of clubs, you would actually probably want to overtake it with the ace and start pulling out these trumps. Does the mean the contract goes down? Yes, Rosemary said, does the 2 on clubs mean the contract goes down? Yeah. So when you do this double dummy, the little red box means it's gone off. You're in deficit. And the number in the little red box is the amount that you go off by. So that's exactly what it is. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so weak no trump. 16 count by North. So they are going to put in a penalty double. So this is everyone's favorite vulnerability when you are defending, you're trying to attack a weak no trump. It's when they're vulnerable and you're not. So you put in the penalty double. Okay, what does East do? Any thoughts with the East hand? It's quacky, lots of queens. Any thoughts? Couple of people coming in. Yeah, pass. Yes, you're basically thinking we don't have any chance of game here, really. I've got 8 points, but I know my partner's got either 12, 13 or 14 points. So worst case scenario, we've got 20 points. So these guys have doubled, trying to work with the odds, trying to work on the basis that they've got 15, 16 plus, West has got 12 to 14. So they're sort of thinking if the remainder points are split evenly between the two hands, North and South is more likely to have the majority of points rather than West or East. But here they are wrong. Unfortunately for them, they're wrong. So rather than doing anything with this East hand, you sit the double. You think, okay, I'm passing it. I think it's going to make. So I would pass. So again, not that there's anything South can really do here. Actually, it's very difficult for South. But if you are the responder to the person who has doubled and you see that the partner to the 1 no trump person has passed, you should ask what the range for their pass is or what pass means. So find out about people's system when you play them. Most people won't have taken time. Your average person in a club won't have taken time to really develop a system, or they might be playing with someone new. So often people will pass because they just don't know what to do. But it's worth finding out what pass means here. South can't do anything. It's very, very difficult for South. If South had a 5-card suit, she should bid it. And then she is basically rescuing her partner. She's saying, oh, I know you thought we had the majority of points, but I really don't think that we do, partner. I'm going to rescue us. But she doesn't have a 5-card suit here. So she just has to pass. And then you make 1 no trump doubled. And you are going to make a club. You're going to make 3 diamonds. You're going to make 2 hearts. So 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to make a spade. And you might even make an overcheck, I think. Let's have a look. Yep. So you were making 1 no trump doubled +1. So instead of just making your normal 90 points, 1 no trump doubled +1 vulnerable, you are actually making 380 points, which is great. So you'd be absolutely thrilled with that outcome if you were West and East. Rosemary said, so you don't use Halbert Wiggle in this position. So I think Rosemary's talking about the south position. And yes, Rosemary, you don't use it because you can't redouble your own partner. That's why you would love to be able to have a redouble for your own partner, but you don't. So the Halbert Wiggle can't actually be used if you're the south person. So the person in the south seat simply has to just bid their 5-card suit in this situation if they need to rescue their partner's double. So they just have to bid a 5-card suit if they've got one. Sometimes you just don't. Here you have to sit it, I think. I have heard of somebody just bidding clubs in this situation, and then they were asked, I think it was Tom Pask, he's a fantastic bridge player, and he bid clubs, and they said, what does 2 clubs mean by you here? And he's just said that I've got 13 cards in my hand. He thought, stuff it, I'm just bidding clubs and seeing what happens, which I quite like that answer. But name dropping by me, yeah. But here, I think the south is normally just going to pass. Yeah, I love that. 13 cards. Me too. Yeah. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, cool. It's a situation you may not have come across before, but this is important to understand. So I'm pleased that we've got time for this one. So West opens what? Yeah, Ro's got to remember that one. Try it out at the Bridge Club. Yeah. Yeah, West is opening a club. And what is the North hand doing? Yeah, 1 no trump feels normal to me. So it's 15 to 17 for me, an overcall of 1 no trump. You must have a stop or preferably 2 stops in the opener's suit. You don't have a 5-card major. Normally you prefer to overcall your 5-card major than bid 1 no trump. So here this looks like a 1 no trump overcall. 15 to 17 and a stop in clubs. So if this happens and you're in the east seat here, so your partner's opened showing 12 points and North has overcalled 1 no trump. If you're in the east seat, what do you think? Are they going to make their 1 no trump? On the basis of points around the table? No, they're not. So if you double here, that's basically saying you've got a lot of points and the opponents who have overcalled are not going to make their 1 no trump. So this double is still a penalty double. So for me, I make this penalty double here if I've got 9 or more points, because it's always 9 plus a 12, kind of 21. Sometimes I've done it with a really good 8 count, but the reason I do it with a sort of 9 point is because I really trust my partner when she opens to have her opening bid. Some people open super light. So if you've got a partner who opens very, very light or opens balanced 11 counts, which I don't do, you'd probably want to be more like a 10 count to make this double. But I trust my partner to have her hand in first seat. So I'm going to make a double here to say, I don't think that you're going to make your contract, opponents. So what does South hand do? The same principles are all applying here. South has 2 points. Their partner's got 15 to 17. So 2 spades is definitely one option. So you could bid 2 spades here if you wanted. It's kind of not technically the Helvet Wiggle, because the Helvet Wiggle is redouble with a 5-card suit or bid the lower of your 2 4-card suits. If you bid 2 spades, your partner will be thinking, hang on, what's going on here? That can't be the lower of her 2 4-card suits, because spades is never the lowest one. And she can't only have 1 4-card suit, because then she would bid clubs. So your partner would think, well, she's obviously just bidding because she's got 5 of them and doesn't want to go through the Helvet Wiggle. Occasionally people will do that because they actually want to punt playing in 2 spades, and they want to make it really difficult for the opponents. But here with these 5 measly, weedy spades, I don't want to play in 2 spades. What I really want is for the opponents to come in. So I'm doing the redouble here to say I've got a 5-card suit somewhere. Please bid 2 clubs. At this stage, West is passing. You're hoping to penalise. And North does what? Same principle. 2 clubs. I'm doing what I'm told. I'm bidding 2 clubs, and I'm going to wait to see what you do next, partner. East doesn't double. That's not their shortage. So I'm now going to bid 2 spades. So that's my 5-card suit. If I were playing this with my partner, I would double that because that's where my shortage is. And then East has to make a call whether to pass that or whether to go on. They'll be thinking maybe we're better off penalising them playing in 2 spades. And so you end up playing in 2 spades doubled. Possibly not as bad as playing in 1 no trump. And I'm sure it's not as bad as playing in 1 no trump doubled. Right, so we've actually managed to get exactly to 10:30. Has anyone got any questions before Bajir appears? And before you plan your trip to southern Germany? Cool. And also, how do people feel about doing a quick revision at the beginning of the lesson? I hope that worked. I need to lie down after that piddling around. Yeah, me too. Oh, thanks, Rosemary. I'm pleased you enjoyed it. And a lot of homework again. Good. Yeah. And I hope you do keep doing your homework, keep looking at things, keep researching, and keep playing at the Bridge Club as well.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you, everyone, especially folks who joined in with the chat, with the answers, with the questions. Just this lesson made it obvious why the name has wiggle in it. I mean, it's
yeah, it all sounds like a dance.
It's like a shimmy.
Yeah, a shimmy. You could call it the Bajir shimmy.
Oh gosh, it makes me want to. Maybe that'll. It's like life goals to have that be to enter into the bridge.
Wow, just amazing! Imagine if a bridge convention was named after you. Maybe we'll think of one. Maybe we can come up with one. Of all the students in LearnBridge Online can come up with a convention for you.
Yeah, well, that could be fun. Maybe it's like end of year class project. Everyone has to invent their own convention.
Yeah, I love that.
But mine is definitely going to be that I'm holding 13 cards because that's
the Bajir holding 13 cards. Yeah. You can you're good at that. You rock that one.
I know. I feel good about that one. All right, Bridget, thank you so much. To everyone, again, who couldn't be with us live, we'd love to have you with us next week if you're able. And yeah, let's keep learning on the class page.
Cool. Can I just quickly say something, Bajir? Quickly. I've just seen a question in saying, Rosemary said, what should we prep for next time? Like the revision. So I was chatting about this with Bajir. We thought we might just talk about why people use the Jacobi, Jacobi support for their partner's major. So have a quick Google, see if you can find something on that, revise it, and we'll talk about the Jacobi, why it's good, why it's bad. So, and then we'll do a bit of revision as well. I'm pleased everyone loves the revision.
Awesome. Well, there's the special effects again. Bye, all. Thanks, Bridget.